We're extremely excited to bring Wyatt onto the Texas Rangers. A guy that we targeted most of the year. It was a good group up top, and we got one of the guys we really targeted, and very excited to bring him to the Texas Ranger family.
Are you guys surprised that he was there at your pick?
I personally was, we didn't really know what was happening in front of us, so surprised, no. I think it was, like I said before, I think it was a really good group up top, and I think different clubs had different opinions of that group, and so no, I wasn't that excited, a surprise he was there, Jeff.
Okay. What about the player, Kip? What does he do well? It sounds like a lot.
It's a powerful middle of the lineup bat. It's a very good approach. It's power to all fields. It's hit and power. It's a good defender, very athletic, probably a plus runner. Good defender in the corner. Has played some center field also for Florida. We think we got a both sides of the ball baseball player here that's going to hit in the middle of the lineup for the Texas Rangers.
All right, thank you.
All right, Evan.
Hey, guys, congratulations on the pick. I'm curious about a couple things. One, on this, in recent years, you guys have drafted this kind of profile on the hitting side of college guys with plate discipline, really advanced hitters. How does Wyatt kind of fit that mode?
I think obviously his track record there at Florida in the last 2 years is impeccable, and yes, that's something that we look at as an organization. And guys, we want to control the zone that impact the baseball. So Wyatt fit that mold perfectly, Evan.
CY, you have any thoughts on that, Tim? I'm just kind of like the profile.
Yeah, Evan, we're just, I think first and foremost, just thrilled that we had the opportunity to draft Wyatt. We certainly didn't know how things were going to transpire in front of us in the draft, and as Kip said, we thought it was a very strong class at the top of the draft, and we would be very happy with any number of these players. But Wyatt specifically was someone that we were thrilled when we had the opportunity to select him, and he does. He fits the profile of player perfectly in terms of hit, power, the approach. He's a defender. And I think the intangibles are really important here. This is a kid who has made himself into a great player, who just has an impeccable work ethic, great reputation, a great teammate. He embodies all the values of the Texas Rangers, and we're thrilled to welcome him to our organization.
Kip, this is a guy who I think in 22 had a 1182 OPS at Florida and hit 26 homers. This year he actually hit fewer homers, but somehow his slugging and OPS both went up. What does that say about what he did in terms of continuing to improve as a hitter?
I think it just is a testament to his approach and being a little more selective at the plate. I think we saw in 22 some slider issues from right-handers, and he corrected that this year, and obviously didn't hit as many home runs, but he did hit 21, and power is not a question at the end of the day for us. I think we got kind of a dual hit power combo out of a strong, powerful athlete.
For both of you guys, is it true that it just does mean more?
I'm sorry, Evan, you broke out there. It does what?
Is it true that it just does mean more? That's an SEC joke, guys. The SEC motto. Sorry.
Oh, well, I'm not familiar with that. That must be a Georgia thing.
Oh, my God. Okay, thank you.
As usual. Okay. We'll go to Kennedy.
For once, I can agree with Evan about the SEC motto, but about Wyatt, this seems like a guy that kind of transformed himself from his freshman year to his sophomore year into his junior year. What did you guys, I guess, learn and like about kind of how he developed across his time in college?
I think CY alluded to it before. Just the story. The kid grew up right by the University of Florida there in Gainesville, outside of Gainesville, and was kind of a kid that came on there, didn't play at all his freshman year, and worked his tail off to get himself in better shape for 1, 2. He came in there as a catcher, and they didn't have room for him as a catcher, and they moved him to the outfield, and the kid made himself a really good outfield, and obviously the bat's the bat, and he proved that here in 2 years there.
And just on the outfield side, you kind of mentioned that maybe he could play center field. He didn't play a ton at Florida. I might be putting the cart before the horse, but all three outfield positions. Do you see that for him?
I don't know if he's the center fielder Leote is here we have in the big leagues, but he can go out there and play center field, and we probably see more of a corner guy at the end of the day. But I don't think we're not going to limit him to that either. And if he can go out there and we get our arms around him, the guy can play some center field. More the merrier.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, last chance. We'll let CY and Kip go. Okay, Evan?
Yeah, the one other similarity for me, especially on Young, right? Young was not drafted out of high school. I don't think that Langford was drafted out of high school. I think both of you guys have hit on this, right? This speaks to, we know how motivated and what kind of dedication Josh has shown to improving his craft. Do you see any similarities in terms of what you've learned about Wyatt on that front?
I can say they're very similar kind of in the work ethic piece of it, and being good teammates, and like CY alluded to, the values that we have here with the Texas Rangers, and I love the story of the kid, kind of a self-made thing similar to Josh. So I think there is some similarities, but there are different players, but there are some similarities of the background for sure, Evan.
Thank you, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to add on it before? I guess Jeff's got another question, so maybe you guys have more. Okay.
Jeff, go ahead.
How much communication have you had with him the last month? Because he was busy and he was at the College World Series. He didn't go to the Combine. What communication were you able to have with him in the last?
In this day and age, you can communicate over Zoom and telephones. We've been in contact with Wyatt throughout this process, and obviously followed him through the College World Series and saw him. So we have been in contact with him, Jeff.
Okay, and then and we always ask about signability. There's no issue there near term in your minds.
No, we don't anticipate having any issues. I think we spoke to Wyatt earlier. I think he's thrilled that we were able to select him, and we're thrilled that we had the opportunity to select him.
Okay, and so then that'll work. But if you don't go there,
Jeff, you broke up there. You kind of
for an onboarding.
You broke up there, Jeff. Try it again.
All right, forget it.
Yeah, Jeff, I think you're asking about where he goes. We have an onboarding process with all of our entire draft class, so he'll be part of that, and we'll determine the next steps once we kind of get our arms around him.
Thank you.
Okay, Evan?
I guess since this was a question asked to Jerry Jones at the most recent draft, I might as well try it on you guys. I don't expect to get an answer, but I'll try it anyway. Did you guys have Wyatt Langford at 1-1 on your board?
Evan, we can't. Those are secrets we can't share with you. Sorry.